Hey, I'm Liam, aka Grey Rose, and welcome back to the road to the Hall of Fame. We're now on 19 points, so I'm still a fair ways off where we need to be. Skelter Kid is still on 166, so we're still on 177, so about 150-ish points away from where we need to be, but we are starting to make more progress now. Apprentice Labs do award 3 points, not just the one that we've been doing previously. So fingers crossed we get where we need to be going here. This one also has a solution video, which we hopefully won't need. But let's just go back here. Double decode. So let's have a look at this. So it says hello test. Now let's have a look here. And that is just reflected from the looks of things. There's nothing client side going on, nothing crazy. So let's now throw old reliable back in there. Let's do a script tag. And that's just been reflected there. So if we go into here now, we can see that that is now kind of being encoded using entity encoding. So what we've got there is the tags there are being decoded once into it's being decoded on the server side and then re-encoded into entities, which is the kind of classic defense to cross-site scripting. It's what we actually recommend to people that people should do when they're trying to protect themselves against XSS attacks. So let's try a few things to get around this. Let's try putting an and alt in ourself and just see what happens. Okay, well that's actually, oh no, that needs to be encoded, otherwise I'll show you what's happened there. That's actually being encoded as another HTTP, being interpreted as another HTTP parameter. So the easy way of, if you ever want to quickly switch to, oh sorry, get a repeater. If you ever want to quickly switch to URL encoding, you can just select this, and then you see normally it goes to URL encoding. So then we're just going to do that, and then that will now, and then we're just going to fix this here. So %3d is just equals, and %3b is a semicolon. So now if we apply those changes, you can see it's now a URL parameter, and it is still being encoded. So instead of that, let's go and try something else. So the other one we can do is we can try %3c, so 3c, which is there, and now we're going to try %25 3c. Aha, right, there you go. So what we've got here, oh, that's clever. Yeah, so this is is this something you'd see in the wild? It's not necessarily something you would see out in the wild, unless I've come across it, but it is something that you definitely check, and there are reasons you have to use double URL encoding in the future to try and get past certain things and certain defenses, certainly. And in fact, some of the other labs actually touch on those edge cases, so that would be good. So what? %25 is just a percent symbol, so it's like URL encoded percent. So the URL encoding of a percent sign also uses a percent sign. It's a bit of a anyway. So anyway, what we'll do here is we'll do yeah, let's go 25 3c, then we're going to go image source image %20 source equals x, one error equals alert 1, and then %25 3c 3e, is it 3e or 3? Let me just check. %3c %3e. Yeah, it's %3e, not %3d. I don't know why they did that, but 3d is wait, sorry, let me just, there you go. Now let's just copy this URL, find that in here, and it should hopefully, yeah, there we go. So that'll then execute, which is good, which is what we want. We want some nice execution. Um, and then we just replace that in there. So all we're doing is WR encode document. All we're doing is WRL encoding our tags to try and bypass the validation on them. Hey, 22 points. Let's go. Brackets filtered. So this is another. I think this is going to be similar to my other one that we set kind of on the Apprentice labs. Let's just throw so hello test. I imagine that it's just being reflected in the body. Yeah. So let's go standard script. Yeah, so this is actually just stripping the brackets out as opposed to splitting on them. But the same payload that we used last time will still work. So if we go back here, or back here even, what we can do here is we can do dir.app.constructor, then I think, yeah, that's how you spell it. Alert percent don't know, back 28 document cookie back 29, and then we just call that with another two backticks. So hopefully this works, and I don't look at oh no. Oh yeah, you actually need the script tags there as well. There you go. Right. So once you've got the script tags, then you can just use exactly the same payloads to get around that. There are a lot of variations on no scripts or no bracket payloads. There's a big GitHub page which lists like loads of them. I think Gareth Hayes came up with walking the prototype chain there. I think he originally used filter, which you can do exactly. It's exactly the same thing here. So you can use filter here. I think at's just slightly shorter. So I have a blog on using this as well, on using this in kind of non-alphanumeric, which is a solution to one of the master level labs. So we might do a video on that, maybe? Maybe, we'll see. But anyway, 25 points, woohoo! What time are we on? Oh, we're only 7 minutes out, okay, cool. We're on a roll, we're on a roll. Right, brackets and backticks are now filtered. This one's going to be a little bit harder. So let's do our, let me just show you here. So this one is no longer going to work because when we go here, we're now going to do this. So yeah, it's filtering even backticks now, which again does make it much harder to go and do arbitrary, a kind of arbitrary execution in quite the way we want, but not impossible. But not impossible. So there's a few ways we can do this. We can. How are we going to do this? It's unbacktick. So can't do that. Do that. We can. We're straight into a script context, so we can. Probably can't do that either. We can, to be fair, what we'll do actually is we'll use something called JSFuck. They think I'm a hacker, which, to be fair, not wrong. So we'll just grab this. 1,000 characters long, but hey, if we don't do script, kill the script there, and then we do the. Oh, actually, no, that won't work because this uses loads of brackets. JSFuck's really interesting. Be careful, like googling it on your work computers if anybody wants to do that. It does flag as CSAM in certain filters, so you don't want to have that meeting with HR. So can't do script. can't do that. Can't do non-alphanumeric stuff. Can't use backticks. We could use strings. Let's have a look. No bracket payloads. Oh, don't do this on a Friday when you're hungover. Oh yeah. Sorry, there's a different one you can do. Oh no, and we can use string. I was just checking my note. I've got two notes here. Oh, we're just checking them there. Yeah. Let's do. Let's see. Actually, let's see if we can do a cooler one. I don't actually know if this is going to work, but we should be able to grab an object tag. See if that, and then that does work. Cool. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to use an object tag. There are other ways of doing this, using instance of symbol that has instance, and other things, but object tags are like quite cool, so I'm going to do that instead. What we're going to do is we're going to B2A is just going to base64 encode that stuff, right, for us. So B2A for script alert document or cookie script. And that's going to give us a string here. Oh, no. And then in here, if we place this in the base64 part, it should. Naturally, that doesn't work now. Oh, yeah, because it's not seeing the plus sent to there. And that still doesn't work. Nice. Let's have a look at what's going on here. Ah, there you go. That's really interesting. So that does work, but you can't read the cookie property. So you can't. Yeah, okay, cool. That's really fun. So you can't use read the cookie property from document because cookies are disabled inside data URIs. There you go. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool. So in which case we're going to use the other one, which is a kind of instance of has instance. Instance of symbol has instance thing. So what we're instead going to do, so this is like an eval atoll payload, like that, eval atoll. And then so A to B just is the reverse of B to A. So instead, what we'll do is we'll grab this one. No, grab this one. Yeah. So we'll define a string of A to B. You can see, here's ones I tried earlier. I think that top one's actually going to be, let's see what this decodes to. Alert document, there you go. So when we run this, this should then execute, which will give us our execution. So once we've got that, that should then, for some reason, it's giving us that, which it should actually just be calling that. Let's try this one instead, and we can always like mix and match, right? So that works. There you go. And if I was to do this, that should then also work, right? Yeah, that resolves to that, and then we should be able to eval that because this is a string object. So if we do this, that's returning true instead. That's very odd. That's very odd. Instead, then let us do something else. Use source, I guess. Use source from to try and resolve this. What the bloody hell did I do this last time? Okay, now. So that should work. Maybe let's do this instead. No, that can't be it. No. Maybe we do just use from char code then. String from char code. And then, but can we? But then that needs to be an array, which I suppose we could do. We can force this to be an array. So if we do this, this is going to be a low one, right? And then if I pass this in instead, that will fail. But if we do, let's just do. Yeah. So that's actually passing it in as an array. So if we do console.log this instead, so that should, yeah. So that's actually it is an array, but it's an array of it's a single string, which we don't necessarily want. So then we need to force this to be an array, which I think we can actually do using this. This is not the way I solved it last time. I forget how I solved it last time. I probably use some jankiness or some encoding. I actually think I did use the parenthesis drop thing, but let's do this and then let's console that. But then if we do this instead, I think we can force this to be, just because it'll be a little bit more interesting than stuff we've already done. No, there's that one. And that doesn't work either. No. Oh, that declares it as, does that just actually just declare it as a separate thing? It's two. There's that. Undefined. Okay. So let's not do that. Oh, right then. Let's actually let's just see if I do this instead. So that works, right? Okay. So I should be able to then. Actually, I can do this. This is very silly of me, but I can actually do x51. X, if oh yeah, no. Let's do it like that, as opposed to trying to complicate things. That's something that I might investigate later, though. Ooh, clever. I just replace this to ring test. Does that still cause this big error? No, it doesn't. Oh, crazy. So what if I now do... Okay, so that still resolves to that for some reason. When it should just be a string. Well, anyway, we'll just do this instead. So that one, this is just a janky way of calling eval without any parenthesis. because it's simple as it says eval. This is one of Gareth Hayes' payloads, I think. Right, this is script tags. This thing causes our yeah. So that's nice and done there. Boom. Lab successfully solved. Boom. So we've just done three apprentice labs. I think we're gonna leave it there, just for the time being. But I will hopefully catch you in the next one where we're going to do a second script context XSS or JavaScript based XSS. Lovely. Well, thank you very much for watching. Cheers.